Yo, what's going on, guys? Jay here from Easy Blade. We're back with another video. Today we're going to do a high skin fade with a beard. Now this haircut's going to look really good, guys. I want you guys to stick around. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, guys. If you like to see the videos, hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want to see, guys. So the first thing we did here was go ahead and start that skin line. Now we did it a little bit higher than the temple area. I want to say right at the top of the temple. And we're just making sure that we're cleaning them up nice and clean. We're gonna do this all the way around the head. And we're gonna make sure that we take all the hair off now. If you don't take off the hair now, guys, you're gonna regret it later. You're gonna mess up your blend and you're gonna wonder why the blend looks the way it looks. You wanna make sure that you do that now, guys. And we're gonna do the same thing, again, above the temple area, right at the top of the temple. We're making it high, guys, and this is what we're gonna do. All right, guys, flip that outliner upside down to get that hair. If you have to, go behind the ears. Make sure that you're bending those ears. Don't be afraid to bend the ears. Really get in there and make sure that you're taking care of your customer, guys. Take care of your customers and they will reward you, guys. This is a guarantee. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm telling you guys, you can make a living cutting hair, guys. Now, what we did here was grab our shaver and we're just making sure that we're cleaning them up really nice and make sure that skin. And when you use a shaver, it really makes the fade haircut pop. That's why you see a lot of guys have that nice faded, blurry look, because it's all the way down to the skin and you see the transition. So the first thing I did here was grab my number 2 guard. And since we're doing a high fade, I'm going right up to the top of the crown area, guys, with no problem. Flicking my wrist as I get to the top and just bringing that thing all the way up, bringing the hair all the way up with that number 2 guard and just making sure that everything is nice and even. Flicking the wrist as I get higher. Now this part right here is a little bit more bulky. You can see I'm taking the machine all the way up and then I'm pulling out and throwing the hair away. You see what I'm doing, guys? Now you could do that with scissor over comb. You could do it with clipper over comb. This pretty much here is kind of the shortcut, but it's a certain technique. As you can see, practice it. You can choose either way, guys. There's no right way to cut hair because we are all artists, guys. We do what we want to do. We get the job done. And in the end, as long as the haircut is faded and it looks good, that's where you want to be. Now, what we did here was go ahead and grab the 1, basically the machine all the way open. It's not a 1, but I mean a half, I'm sorry. The machine all the way open is a half, guys. So that's what we did here. We opened the machine up all the way and we're creating our line. Now you can see again, it's a high fade. You can see that I brung that pretty high. Now we're going all the way around the head and doing the same thing. Now I want to tell you guys something in the comments. I want to tell you guys something out here in this video, because you don't have to make everything so even. It doesn't have to be very precise. A lot of barbers will tell you that you have to make the skin line precise. You have to make your guideline so precise. I'm 100% sure that you don't have to do that. Here's why. Because when you start your blend, that line is going to go away. So we're starting to work on our first guideline and we grabbed our 1.5 guard. And now I'm flicking the wrist. Same thing, guys. Starting to blend it out. And you can see that half guideline, that second guideline that we did, it wasn't as precise as it was supposed to be. You can see over here, it looks a little bit lower than the other part. But when you blend it in, the blend is what's going to make everything even, guys. I'm not saying make every line lopsided, but it doesn't have to be, laser sharp, to the right way. You want to have it even, but you don't have to worry about having it so laser sharp. Don't spend your time on that. A lot of people spend their time on that, which is kind of slow you down. You want to be cutting hair at least every 30 to 45 minutes so that you can make money every hour. So after we had our 1.5, we dropped down to our 1. And now you can see that guideline is starting to get faint. All right, so we dropped down to our 1. And remember, with that machine open was a half, so we have our 1 on now, and then we're gonna drop down to the half, and the half is gonna completely take out that second guideline that we created the first time around. Flicking the wrist. As I get higher, I open the lever so I can fade into the previous guard. If you guys are watching the videos, you already know what time it is with that. Same thing over here. Flicking that wrist. As I get higher, I will open the lever if I have to. And this is what we're doing, guys. Again, it's a high fade. So we're bringing that thing as high as we can and just making sure that we're not going all the way to the top of the head, but we're going to the crown, all right? So again, make sure that you're flicking that wrist. Make sure that you're staying focused. Now drop down to the half right here, guys. This is the half guard. Now, again, that machine open was the half. So how are we fading out that half? We can only fade that half out with the half. All right, as I get higher, I will be opening the lever just so that I can create, go fade into that other line, basically. Make sure that you're really going over these steps. Now you can see I switched to the brush. Now the brush is gonna go ahead and remove all of those micro hairs. You wanna make sure that you're brushing it as much as you can, because if you don't, you're gonna get confused with the fade and it's still gonna look like you didn't blend the line, and you're probably gonna get confused and be like, oh my God, this fade doesn't look good, okay? So you wanna make sure that you're brushing it out, guys. It's like removing dirt out the way, guys, but it's actually hair, small micro hairs that'll be in the way of your actual blend. Make sure that you're going ahead and brushing that out. So what I did was took off the half guard, and you can see me blending out the bottom line, that first guideline, guys. If your machine is lined up correctly, you're going to be able to remove that skin line, guys. So just make sure that you line those machines up properly. You want to make sure that you're really have those things zero gap, because that's going to help remove that T outline. I know a lot of you new guys have problems out there when you first start fading, because you can't remove that skin line, man. It's probably why a lot of you guys are on the video, because it's really hard to remove that skin line. But the secret is you want to make sure that your machine is zero gap. That's key, making sure that it's zero gap. And you can see if it's zero gap, you can really remove that line, guys. Now make sure you're flicking your wrist, and as I get higher, I'm opening that lever, and you guys know that I use the half to make that guideline, so I'm not going higher than that. So here we are, we're gonna grab our outliner. He doesn't want the front of his head lined up. We're just doing the side, so we're just gonna line up the side to really make the fade pop. If you don't, the fade probably won't pop, guys. So you wanna make sure that you line up the side at least, as you can see the totally difference, once I applied that line. It really makes the fade stand out, So what we're gonna use here is some Easy Blaze Shave Gel. You can grab that on our website. The link is right there, easybladeshavingproducts.com. Apply that shave gel on there. It's clear, translucent. You can see what you're doing. And you wanna make sure that you're pulling the skin, angle the blade at a 30. And you can see we're using the Easy Blade straight razor as well, along with Easy Blade double-edged razors. We're gonna do the same thing on this side, all right? Now we're gonna start that beard, guys. Now this is really gonna make the haircut and everything pop out. So what we did here was grabbing him a 2-guard. He wants his beard dark. So we just, I like to test it out first, guys. If you have somebody sitting in your chair, start with a bigger guard, guys. Now the first thing I'm doing here is going ahead and grabbing my outliner and shaping out the jawline and just seeing where he wanted his beard. Have a consultation with your client first. Say, hey, where do you want your beard line? Don't just do what you want to do to it or what you think looks good. I mean, you can give him advice on what you think looks good, and then, from there, let him decide what he wants, or she, whatever, whoever it is. Right here, we're going ahead and starting that line on the top of the cheek. Again, make sure you know where they want it at. They want it really high as possible. And that's what we had in this case. He wanted it as high as possible. And that's about as high as I can bring it. And we're doing the same thing, cleaning up the neck over here, lining up under the mustache, making sure no hair is hanging over the lip, because if the hair is hanging over the lip, guys, you don't really want that. Again, here we go, applying some of that Easy Blade Shave Gel. And we're pulling the skin, angling the blade at a 30, and we're stopping right where we want that line to be. So we're going ahead, pulling the skin and stopping exactly where we want that line to be. I was keeping it as high as possible and just making sure that that line is nice and sharp. So when he leaves the shop, he gets compliments, Make sure you're pulling that skin, guys. If you don't, the blade is going to stutter, and you possibly can, cut yourself if you're using it. If you're watching this video to learn how to fade your own hair, or you can possibly cut your client. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just wet the top. I want to put some styling clay in there, or some styling pomade in there. I'm going to use that Easy Blade as well. So I wet it because I wanted to go ahead and just trim a little bit of these bangs when we comb it over. I don't want it hanging over his eyes like that. So I combed it the way the hair should be, and went it straight across with the scissors, just so that it looks nice and even and it's not hanging over his eyelid. That's kind of uncomfortable. So we're gonna go ahead and apply some Easy Blade pomade in his hair and just make sure that he walks out the barbershop feeling good and looking good, guys. And that's where you wanna be. You wanna make sure that your clients, I really like how this haircut came out. I know he was happy. And it was just an overall great experience for both of us, because again, I feel like an artist, and whenever I see something that looks good, and I feel good about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my comb and just make sure that it's nice and combed over. And this is pretty much what we have, guys. We have that high skin fade haircut, comb over, no enhancements, old school style, and it just looks good, guys. We didn't have to put anything on it to make it, look crazy, and it's just, this is where it's at, guys. If you guys like this video, go ahead, hit that thumbs up, guys. Hit that like button and let us know what you want to see. Comment below. We'll talk to you guys soon. Again, Jay here from EasyBladeShavingProducts.com.